Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, Mr. Afrianto, and good afternoon, all of my friends. My name is Desti Fitriyani, my NPM 19111030. Today, I would like to present about roots of problem GM Indonesia Company. GM Indonesia Company is the first manufacturer to assemble cars in Indonesia. Before there was a factory, or before there was GM Indonesia Company, all the cars in Indonesia were imported completely from abroad. The majority of the cars were legendary European and American brands such as Albion, and then Light, and then British Daimler, Buick, Cadillac, Saturn, and then Chevrolet, Darek, and etc. And GM Indonesia Company was built since 1920 and declared that they are stopped to produce new car in the end of March 2020. So the main problem here is GM Indonesia Company stopped to produce a new car. So why GM Indonesia Company stopped to produce new car in Indonesia? The reason is, or the problem is, they lose a market segment. They lose their customer. Previously, GM Indonesia Company experienced a very drastic decline in sales, and until they actually lose their customers. Throughout 2014, sales of Chevrolet car only reached 10,018 units of cars, and the largest sales occurred in January with 1,463 units, and the lowest is in December, which is only 508 units. Over time, American cars faded away. The existence of American car was replaced by Japanese brands in Indonesia, which are still exist until today, and we usually meet these brands and several Japanese brands that were present in the early days of the domestic industry were Toyota, and then Datsun or Nissan, Mazda, and then Mitsubishi, Suzuki, Subaru, and also Honda. And then why GM Indonesia Company lose market segment? The problem is people prefer to buy Japanese cars brand than American car brands. So why people prefer to buy Japanese cars than American car? The reason is because the price of Japanese second car doesn't fall easily, and this is contrast with the resale price of US cars, where the price of a US or American car can drop drastically. So it's become a consideration for people to buy American car, because if they buy American car, so when they will resell their car, the price will drop drastically. So that's why people prefer to buy Japanese cars than American car. And then now, why American car resale price can drop drastically? The answer is because the first showrooms for American car are still relatively few, and also the workshop for American car are difficult to find. So the customer difficult to find showroom and also workshop for their car, whereas the aspect of easy of finding the components or workshop is what customers consider before buying a car. If the workshop or showrooms for their car doesn't exist, so how they can fix their car problems when their car have a trouble. And then now, why showrooms and workshop for US cars are still rare in Indonesia? The answer is because the spare parts of US cars are more difficult to find than those from Japan. So, people more difficult to get US car spare part than Japan's car spare part. How people will open showrooms or workshop for US cars if the spare parts are still difficult to get? And that's why workshop and showrooms for Japanese cars are more easy to find because the spare parts for Japanese car are more easy to get or more easy to find. And then why the spare parts of American cars still rare in Indonesia? The answer is because the distribution of American car spare parts is not wide enough, so that it is not evenly distributed throughout Indonesia. Therefore, many customers have difficulty getting American car spare parts for their car. So the roots of problem GM Indonesia Company is the distribution of American car spare parts is not wide enough. So the customer want to buy their product or GM Indonesia Company product because if there is a problem with their car, they will difficult to fix them. They will difficult to fix their problem because there is no showroom or workshop for their car. And then what is the solution for GM Indonesia Company? So the solution for GM Indonesia Company is expanding the distribution of their car spare parts so that the customers can more easy to get maintenance for their cars if they buy products from GM Indonesia Company, which is an American car company. So that will help to to increase or to get their customer back. Well, this is the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.